disc action here at the World Games 2022. The second launch out of the starting blocks for the late game window. Day 2, Pool A, Germany versus the USA. The two teams jostling for top position in the group of 4 for the easier semi-final berth if they can best their opponents on day 3. And we are hoping for a barnstormer of a game. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury in the booth with the inimitable Tom Styles. Tom, talk us through how these two teams have fared thus far in this championship.
Well, it's been an outstanding start to Pool A, really shaking things up yesterday, hot at the blocks. The Germans defeating Canada in their opening game, and not just defeating them, really giving them a whipping. It was a 13-5 scoreline for the opener for the Germany. Levka Volchak on your screen there, a big part of that, 5 goals to her name. The USA, they had a tough game against Great Britain. They looked shaky in places, but they pulled it around. It's incredible defensive pressure. And eventually it was a fairly one-sided affair there. They walk away with a 13-7 win. So top 2 teams doing great. And here we get to find out who's actually best.
Well, we have the German side, the absolute underdogs against the 4-time defending champs of the US. Representation from a great variety of club teams here. We've got some Bad Skids, some Seagulls, all the big names you would expect to see. Nico Müller having an excellent start to the tournament, and the offensive line for Germany going completely clean in that first game. Crucial to see how they can come out here, but the Germans starting on defence, and defence was the name of that game of the USA versus GB matchup. Who most impressed you in that match, Tom?
For USA, I think the outstanding player for USA for me was Claire Trope. You see her actually on the screen there. She was pulling the disc and made some great pulls, really forcing Great Britain back. But also her upline cuts were really impressive, and she was getting free deep almost at will.
My favourite blocks on the highlight reels that's featured was an end zone defensive effort, I believe against Rachel Naden of Great Britain, and Trope just came in and made a heckin' play. Just such great body control, spiralling around the offensive target and tipping the disc to the floor. So Team USA, not the cleanest start to the tournament in their game yesterday, but they're coming out strong on offence, and there was I like the confidence in the post-game interviews for both of these sides. This is the first matchup of today's action where neither team has suffered a defeat yet in the stages of pool play. Of course, it's the first time at the World Games where we're seeing the full 8-team field and the 2-pool structure to qualify into the championship bracket later on in the week.
Yeah, two pools, 4 teams in each pool. 1 game a day. That is such an unusual thing for Ultimate. We're usually playing 2 games a day or 3 games a day at some tournaments. Well, just the 1 game focused on USA and Germany. One thing we've got to draw out from that USA Great Britain game was the O-line for USA got turned over 7 times. 7 times. That would be something they really want to put behind them and improve. Can they do so here against this impressive German side as Volchak looking ready to go?
Absolutely, an incredible athlete, Levka Volchak. A number of Eurostars appearances, the all-star European women's team coming up and playing in the USA for a couple of seasons. But the USA getting us underway. Mikkel in the centre of the field, such a powerful arm on that young man. Lots of representation here for the World Games. A nice high grab from Kayla Helton. A little bit of a hamstring issue, but great to see her on the field. Reaching grab for Mikkel. Happy to just squeeze down that far sideline. Volchak marking up against, I think that might be Claire Chastain
in the 17 shirt, yeah.
Kosher looking for his teammate Mikkel. Nice squeezing pass for the Pony chaps. And a nice easy goal into the path of this streaking Sarah Meckstroth. And a nice clean hold for Team USA.
Wasn't it clean? That was super. There was a lot of pressure from the Germans setting up with a horizontal stack and then just running and squeezing through those gaps and getting in at the front corner. we saw almost everything from the USA. Big gainers, small, tight passes into short spaces. Kayla Helton looking great. And eventually Meckstroth strides away from Lena Trautmann.
So the key aspects we're going to be thinking about during this game: can the Germans ride the success where they surmounted the fellow North American team here, the Canadians, yesterday? Walczak is a big threat. The Germans are used to isolating their female matchups in space. We saw back in 2019, the European Beach Championships, such a target for the offensive efforts of the German side. If you're coaching, Tom, what do you do with those really just dynamic players where they're a nightmare wherever they are on the field? Because there's so many on this field right now.
They are, and I think to some extent you've got to give them a role and make sure that they understand what their role is on the team, because almost every one of these players will be a star player on their home side. They can't all be star players here. They've got to understand how they fit into this system. You see the Germans on offense.
So Gerner there, one of the captains with the disc, finds Kio Benavides of the Mainzel Mädchen, one of the German women's side players. But you normally see along Melina Koschnitzki, who didn't get selected for this side, but certainly Kio gracing us with her presence. It's a nice swinging round the far side.
Interesting to see Opie Payne and Anna Gerner mark up with each other. That's going to be a competition to watch.
Müller launches a big high pass. It's going to sit and hang, but Kio with the great reception. Nice work from Germany. A clean hold for both sides now.
Well, that's exactly how you wanted this game to start. Neither team fazed by the occasion, neither team fazed by the opposition, and both coming down with clean offensive holds. That pass forward to Müller, creating a lot of space, and we saw how deadly he was yesterday with the deep shots. I think he would have preferred a little bit less hang on that final shot into the end zone, though.
Well, delighted to have two clean holes to get us rolling here on the fields in Birmingham, Alabama. This game is actually proving so popular that if you are experiencing glitches with the live stream right now, please direct your browser to the Olympics.com website if you are not getting quite the clean feed that you expect from this high-level coverage here. See the number 17 Hayes shirt there, which gave me a little bit of confusion. That is indeed Claire Chastain of Molly Brown. Konrad Schlor.
Yeah, Chastain having a great game in yesterday's match against Great Britain. Schlor a little bit obstructed on the pull there, wasn't he? But hasn't affected the discs. Great middle of the end zone. Slightly wayward and picked off.
Oh, this is a great opportunity for the Germans, and they break with ease. A loose high disc, the first uncued error from the USA, snaffled up by Team Germany.
Well, what about that? Germany handed a point, absolutely handed a point. First pass out of the back of the end zone, just the steadiest reset to the front handler. Let's see that again.
We did see a little bit of this yesterday. Carolyn Finney there being overthrown for that first centering pass. We had a couple of loose ones over the top. Chastain was overthrown yesterday by Leif Kosher, so perhaps the all-star lineup for the USA not having had as many reps together. We know certainly the Germans have massively prepared for this tournament. They've had it in their sights for months and months and been getting lots of reps together.
I mean, what do you put that error down to? Is that nerves? Is that, back of the end zone? I know from experience, sometimes the most straightforward passes are the ones that it's the hardest, because you don't have any pressure on you. There's a simple, straightforward pass to make.
I think it's familiarity. It really has to be down to that. It's the idea of, because it's not nerves. All of these USA players are more than comfortable with the world stage. They've all got national representation. They've all got, high-level elite club experience. But Freechild now getting us underway, going off to the races after that jink off. But there's going to be another error there. You see him bailed out of the cut, and the Germans ready for the deep shot. Freechild was not.
I'm going to ask the question again. Is this nerves? That didn't look like Freechild's an incredible cutter, and he'd set off deep, but the throw was never there.
So unlike last time, the full length to go. Gerner thinks about the bid, but unable to reel that one in from Sebastian Spiegel. So after a clean start, and the USA now steady themselves, a release valve to Payne. Punching into the middle. Oh, and it's a pick-off. Great eyes from Konrad Schlör.
It's another opportunity for the Germans. Big bid required.
Indeed, the Team Germany side making a hero out of Anna Gerner, who puts a nice gentle pass into the hands of Stefan Doscher. This is nice moving around. The second opportunity for the Germans to take a second break. Oh, it's a big pass though, it looses and hangs. Collected.
A really impressive offensive defense from the O-line there. Really fighting hard to get it back in American hands.
Oh, lovely inside shot from Freechild. It's going to have to be redeemed though. Can he make it? Not quite. Great attempt, but not to be. Grant Lindsley looking a little bit dejected after that one.
Well, they've turned over, and then they've turned over, and they've turned over again. This isn't great from the USA, and having given a break away to Germany now, having seen how well Germany played yesterday, and is that a timeout called by Spiegel? Oh, he's just tapping the ground.
So Spiegel centering to start. Gerner from the Jinx club side. And Schlör, who's been really useful in Berlin, powering up the Wall City club. Spiegel moving up line. Things looking a little bit hesitant, but opening up the field as we tapped away. Lindsley reads that well.
Again, the USA defensive pressure clamping down on the German options, and they're just not able to get free like they want to, creating these turns.
Pelton to Payne. That Fury connection. This one round to Trope. Has Helton available. Chooses the around. It's going to sit and hang, and you see Lindsley's put a little check over the shoulder to see if someone was behind him, but just another overthrow. This is very familiar. Feels a lot like the GB game yesterday. The USA not playing their highest level of execution, but able to get it back. The defensive pressure is hot, but this is turning into a rather long point.
Well, we said they had 7 turnovers. The O-line had 7 turnovers in yesterday's game. Before long, they're going to have that in this point.
He's up line.
Again, there's pressure. Look, Opie Payne containing Anna Gerner. And that's the only option they have, is a deep shot. Is it going to work out?
Well, it's Konrad Schlör underneath it, and he absolutely rips it out the sky, but overthrows Gerner. Heartbreak Hotel.
Oh, that is a real opportunity gone begging. The USA are going to sort their game out before too long. Germany know that. That was a brilliant takedown from Schlör. All it needed was a straightforward pass. There is a little bit of breeze out there.
You read my mind, Tom. This is the first time we've seen really any shape of wind. It's about 10 miles an hour, so not really anything insurmountable. But the USA on the charge now. Freechild. Lindsley. Just turns the shoulder, doesn't really fake the big one, but the US playing a small ball here.
Germany not quite as close as they have been earlier in the point. Crossfield pass.
Expansive stuff to Freechild. Normile. You can see the defender starting to look a little bit tired. Opening up the near side of the field. It's going to be another battle in the air, and bested again. Konrad Schlör with the block.
Well, he needed to get the disc back for Germany after that throwaway at the other end of the field. But both teams looking tired. This has been a really long point already.
A marathon. Konrad Schlör, I believe, owes some of his ups to the fact he used to be a ballet dancer, so very, very strong legs. You see another one of that battle between those two.
Lindsley going up maybe a tiny bit early in the wind. Big gainer now.
Oh, and a big ripper for Team Germany. Nearly the second effort for Liv Kowalczyk, but tipped away by Normile.
Germany needs to find a way of working it up the field.
Surely at some point someone's going to take a timeout, but Kayla Helton's going to rip it to Opie Payne. She makes the bid but gets nothing but a mouthful of dirt.
Gerner again.
Spiegel. Things looking a little bit misty. Wolchak has a look. Chooses Spiegel. Germans quite far away on their stack, perhaps trying to isolate some players in the space. Gerner still trying to grind against the matchup of Opie Payne. This is the moment where Germany could really turn things on. Another big one. It's going to be in the end zone, but it's going to be picked away by Grant Lindsley once more.
Yeah, redemption for Lindsley. Getting it back.
Nate Goff now with absolutely no mark whatsoever. Clearly the Germans are valuing the deep space.
I get the sense this is now a really pivotal moment for both these teams. It could either level it up or it could be 2 breaks to Germany.
Well, the US are taking things nice and easy. The marks are sagging off from the German side, but we'll see them tighten up now as we reach half our field. Oh, great effort. Benavides underneath the feet of Lindsley.
Great awareness from Lindsley to avoid the contact there.
We're going to see an expansive shot. Oh, and it just bobbles off the hands of Dylan Freechild. Can't get his claws around it. And there we see, finally, at long last, a timeout from Anna Gerner.
We have seen everything in this game, and finish off with something we almost never see, which is Dylan Freechild just missing a clap catch in the front of the end zone. I don't know what to make of the performance of either of the teams. The USA's defense was absolutely stifling Germany. The only thing they had was deep shots. They pulled some of them down and then didn't score. The USA looking at 6s and 7s on offense. What's going on?
Well, this is not just a dirty offensive point for the USA. I think this one's laid in about 5 inches thick of mud, which is ironic because it's quite dry and hot out there on the field. You can see just the errors of execution. Things looking a little bit untoward. The defense, though, is firing for the States.
It really is, but once they've earned the disc, they're not using it wisely, not guarding it carefully. Brilliant grab from Schlor here. Just read the disc better, but he had 2 options there. Wolchak and Gerner both available. Really should have put that one to bed. Big takedown.
Both teams clearly very fired up coming out into this 4th point of this match after the Germans took that very, very easy, very quick break.
Wow. One of the things I'm absolutely loving is Opie Payne and Anna Gerner marking each other. That is a competition.
But we see a switch up now to some kind of zone look from the US, perhaps? Oh no, we're just moving us back around. An initial set with a giant mark, and that's going to be a giant sitting hanging disc that's just going to fly out of bounds. And just making sure Dylan Freechild just having a little tap, preventing Schlor from being able to make any kind of hero play. Because you never know.
You never know. The team's looking tired. Been out on the field for a while now, even with that timeout.
The Schulze-Helton matchup there, also a big fan of that.
Clogging in the lane there, the Germans.
Helton has a look upfield, but doesn't like any of them. Freechild around. Lovely inside shot. That one's much better executed than the last. A big sitting, hanging disc, and again, oh, it's finally! The USA find their connection. Lindsley with the grab, and finally we put that marathon point to bed.
Ooh, 7 turnovers each, 14 turnover point, and the USA absolutely let off the hook. That Konrad Schlor throwaway into the end zone to an open choice of Anna Gerner or Levka Volchak. At the end of this game, at the end of this tournament, they're going to look back on this point and they're going to see an absolute pivotal moment for both these sides. That was huge.
Yeah, finally they find the man. And it's Grant Lindsley with the goal for the US. But thinking about the lines we had out there, so these rosters are very, very short, as we said, 14 players strong for both sides. And that was the USA O-line being knackered out. The D-line, you know, getting a chance to have a break now. But in terms of the execution we've seen out here in that point, adding that marathon effort, it's going to be interesting. Although we're seeing Helton coming back out on the field by the looks of it with the pull.
I was going to ask the question, how many, having just been on the field for what was nearly 15 minutes, I was going to wonder how many players are actually going to stay on, not switch on, but Kayla Helton, one of the most athletic players there is.
Absolutely. If you follow her on Instagram, her workout game is as strong as anything. Such a powerful, powerful athlete. Nice easy shots here for Germany. Mixing their way up the field. Nico Müller with the disc. Real champion for the offense of Germany. Nice movement around and inside. Volchak opens up the break. Brian. Nice discipline in the end zone from the German side, and the poach, easy one for Müller. Disc in his hands, he throws it around, and that is a beautiful pocket, and sinks it to the teammate Stefan Doscher from the Karlsruhe.
Yeah, Chris Kocher poaching off, trying to create pressure, and they did that, but the Germans, even with this slight breeze, aren't going to hesitate to throw something over the top, and Doscher, grateful recipient of that. The Germans coming back out. That's a huge difference in O-line time on field. The USA on the field for 15 minutes, the Germans on the field for 45 seconds.
You can see the poach off there on Müller, not an individual you want to leave that wide open because he's such a threat with the disc. And Doscher with the goal. Said from the current city, living in Karlsruhe, from the club side Hässliche Erdferkel, who not quite the same outfit we'll see later on in but 2 weeks at the World Ultimate Club Championships in Mason, Ohio. Al Salem there on the screen in front of you. Another person with excellent social media game, really giving us an insight to the experience for these players out on the field.
Great pull. Look at the hang on that as we get this top-down shot from the drone, and Finney collecting for USA.
Nickel, centre of the field.
Switches downfield there, collecting Claire Chastain as she created pressure.
El Salam fakes the upline. Good work on the defence from Germany. These options upfield, not attractive. Great power position for Mikkel. He launches it, has the separation in the end zone, but the catch-up play, oh, nearly a second effort for Sarah Meckstroth, but well defended. Lena Trautmann putting her first mark on this game. Her paw prints were all over the game against Canada, Tom.
She had a great defensive game against Lily Trautmann. 29 years old, been playing Ultimate for 10 years, and all that experience went in to that read of the disc.
And immediately a big shot going up. Finney and Volchak underneath it. Volchak with the layout score for Germany. And that takes them to 3-2.
That's the second break of the game for Germany. Volchak hurling herself at that one. Brilliant body awareness from the USA player. I didn't see who that was running in, but they avoided the contact. That could have been really dangerous, but really good awareness.
So our scoreboard not quite keeping up with the play there. 4-2 to Germany. Great effort from Caroline Finney, but eyes on the prize is Levka Volchak.
It was Mexstroth who's coming in at pace, avoiding the contact.
With a shot to the end zone. And Kowalczyk with a great read brings it in for the Germany score.
The reaction of Volchak, she got the eyes up onto the disc.
United States 2.
USA defender just running straight for a little bit too long. And when Volchak realized that was drifting away, sometimes when you're underneath the disc, it's so hard to see which way it's leaning, which way it's going to fade off at the end of its flight. Volchak getting the break. So 4-2 to Germany.
So can the US respond? Just need a hold here, nothing special. Normal getting us started. Nate Goff had a brilliant game against GB yesterday. Some wonderful receptions, but sitting in the hand of space for now. Squeezing it far side, Lindsley. The man who finally ended that marathon point but a few moments ago, but a high grab, not able to reel it in is Claire Trope. And another opportunity, Gerner. Giving and going. Nice movement, a low grab for Dosche. And this is an opportunity for Team Germany to inch themselves closer to the half and really break open the spirit of the US. Gerner. As Dosche moving in front, but high stall now. Oh, that's going to be a bid for sure. Great defence from the USA. I believe that looks like Claire Trope with the run-through block, getting it back.
Yeah, USA couldn't afford to let another break go.
Payne.
USA making the field look really big, creating all these spaces, but as a result, their passes are a long, every single pass is going a long way.
Well, the Germans are doing a great job of keeping them contained up until that point, but the catch is made out of bounds. Trope not able to do some fancy footwork under the hot pressure of Lena Trautmann.
It's been brilliant this World Games to see the different styles of ultimate, the camera angles we've got, particularly the drone shot, is allowing us to see the differences in styles. USA really playing around the edges of the field, creating so much space. Lots of running, lots of long throws, but it's not working out for them in this game.
Lindsay really taking away that around, but now giving away the give-go. Oh, and just about stumbling it in. They do it twice because it wasn't quite over the line. Nice work from Martin Voldvogel and the lovely Stefan Dosche.
North American Ultimate has been stood on its head in these first 2 days of the World Games. Yesterday, Germany took apart Canada, and right here they are 3 breaks up against USA. This is huge. This is absolutely huge. USA not looking like they're playing the best. Germany have had some rough moments as well, particularly in that big multi-turnover point. But they are the ones that the scoreboard is 5-2 to Germany at the start of this game against the USA.
I tell you what, we've been talking about different matchups, but actually getting some saucy replays there of the work of Claire Trope versus Lena Trautmann. I'm really excited to watch those two match up against each other in the later stages of this game.
Yeah, Marvin Voldvogel and Stefan Dosche combining there. They just looked hungry for the disc, didn't they? They were going every other. USA looked flat in comparison.
Well, what started that off was actually, so Grant Lindsley was really taking away the dump around pass, so the backfield pass, just to kind of, swing it across the lateral movement of the field, and then put him on a little bit on the back foot, allowed that give-go for Team Germany. So O-line, the offensive efforts of the American side, Elsa Lamphar on the field.
Jimmy Meckel back on the field as well, downfield.
Finney punches it in to the player you just mentioned. Such a tall individual with such a big arm.
Chastain has got Valchuk for company.
And of course, Levko Valchuk playing on the US circuit a little bit. Bit of a gun for hire, featured on the Colombian women's side from Medellin Revolution as well.
With the disc for the US.
Certainly an international star of this flying disc sport. Chastain pops it through. Meckstroth. Oh, and a little bit of a loose one's going to be picked off by the defence. Nothing that Jimmy Mickle can do, but that is a heck of a hospital pass. Players clustering underneath it. Who's going to come out the best? It's going to be Chris Kosher.
That's a shame that Germany couldn't do more with that opportunity. Oh, they're getting the disc back. These long passes from the USA, they're spreading the play, and the Germans are just taking the disc off them again and again and again. Can they do something more with it now?
Spiegel to Prien as the players try and cascade through. And a foul call in the centre of the field. A little bit too much contact between, I think that's Dusha and El Salam. I'll take that back. That's Torben Hirschenmeier. Wearing not the number 15 we're expecting.
Possession stays with Germany.
We see this turnover stat on the screen there, 11 turnovers to USA, 8. Just to keep that in perspective, 7 each of those came in the same point, which is when we were at 2-all.
Why does it go up?
It's not going up.
I said 3. So I said 5, you said 2 seconds. 3. Coming in 4. Coming in 4! Yeah, US!
Game advisors there just stepping in to add a little bit extra as Prien gets a little bit hasty and it's blocked by Chastain.
Incredible athleticism. Prien's disc needed to stretch the play a little deeper. Volchak got good speed, but put a disc within reach of Claire Chastain. That's coming down.
Finney finds Helton. Nice lateral flow from the US. Players all looking a bit upfield, and there is going to be another error thrown off the palm of Finney, trying to hit Jimmy Mickle in the deep space.
Well, USA have got a huge coaching squad. Matty Sang, the leader of that coaching crew, alongside Miranda Roth and Patrick Sherlock. They must be tearing their hair out right now, because whatever the game plan was, it's not working, and they need to change something. They are just they're not looking like a unit at the moment.
So Team Germany looking very confident, happy to throw negative passes for many yards. Spiegel, the lovely low backhand into Binavies. Faking the big pass, but taking the easy one. Spiegel, nice leader. Oh, good connections. Prien on the goal line, knocking on the door for another break. Spiegel to Müller. Easy toss and go. Oh, Volchak had the separation for her teammate Prien, but chooses to holster. Doing the work herself for the goal, and that's another break. 4 on the bounce for Germany.
This is Germans capitalising on USA mistakes. They are not looking like the perfect game that they played against Canada, but the USA just keep giving them the disc, and you don't have to play a perfect game if you keep getting opportunities like this. This is an explosive play at the front, but that pass down the line from Prien could have been a point previously. This is not German perfection, but they're capitalising on every opportunity that, they're capitalising on enough of the opportunities that USA are giving them.
So the USA seem at the moment to be throwing this game into the bin. It really is just the miscues on their connections. Need to polish those up.
Look at over the head of Lindsley. They've come from everywhere, haven't they? Deep shots that haven't connected, just short passes that have been over the head, miscues, defense from Germany, throws that never should have gone, and then just basic, well, not basic errors, but because the USA are having to throw the disc so far because of their setup and it's not working for them, they've seen a number of deep shots that have just come down on an edge into the turf, nowhere near the receiver.
And sometimes as a coach, there's not really anything you can do. if your team is just having a bad day. And I think that's just what's happening to the US. They're having a bad day. This is just them coming out, and something's happened in the American camp. I don't know what it is, but there's something awry. They just need to, but they need to focus. They have the quality, and they certainly are playing defense at the level at this tournament where they could come back. They could redeem those 4 breaks that they currently are down to the Germans. There's a lot of game time left. Not even half of it's expired at the moment. Of course, these games being played 2:13 here on the fields. But if the Germans can get another break, that is a resounding first half.
6-2 to Germany in the World Games. I'm struggling to get our heads around what's happening. We thought after yesterday's big win against Canada, Germany. You see the seedings on the screen there. Germans are the 8th seed coming into this tournament, and they are 4 breaks up against the USA.
Started at the bottom. Now we're here. Let's see what's going to happen as we get to the business end of this first half. If the Germans can punch it in. Inslee, nice find for Freechild.
Different look here. Freechild using his speed, going every other, but they've fallen back to a more traditional look from them.
Nearly a bit of friendly fire with Williams and Helton, but well kept.
Much more compressed field from the USA this time.
Yeah, trying to play that sort of dynamic, close offense. Freechild.
This is what Freechild does so well. Going every other, now it's a bit more expansive.
Inslee. Around for Freechild again. Seeing the US play between just a small closed unit of the 7 on the field. But Williams now coming in. Such a threat in the deep space, gets the easy under. Inslee. Williams chooses not to let blind, just clusters the space, goes for the teeny tiny jink. Looking to move it now around Normile. Popping back. Now we're seeing the other half of the offensive line for the States going to work. Freechild with a nice grab. No one anywhere near him. Now he finally finds a mark. Van Vogel taking that matchup. Backing and forthing for Williams. You see the pressure that the Germans are putting on now. Oh, great low reaching grab for Helton. Keeping the disc alive. And keeping this one clean for now. Lefty dish, love the cheekiness. And Inslee finally finds a teammate in the form of Claire Trope for the goal. And in a first time in a long time, it's a long last, a clean hold for the USA, steadying themselves in this first half.
Well, we knew that something was going to change, and something did change. A completely different look from the USA, much more compressed, using the speed and quick change of direction. Probably the best player in the world at playing like that, Dylan Freechild, getting free. But then the whole team got involved. They managed to spread it around. The Germans were at close attention every single time, but good patience from the USA, punching that in. They'll be relieved to get away from that string of German breaks.
Yeah, nearly some errors there, but Trope with the goal. They were patient, they were conservative. And at the moment, that is just what the USA need to do. Just go back to the basics, keep things simple.
Yeah, Helton rescuing that disc off the floor as well. It's a key moment.
Well, I think probably the key moment was that absolute marathon point with the 7 turnovers aside. Just ending up with a hold for the States. But after that, the Germans, that unanswered 4-point run, finds themselves sitting pretty 6-3 in the lead.
Yeah, that seven turnover point. If we think that was not a good point for either team, but actually it was German pressure that was building, and then they went on after that 14 turnover point. They then scored the next 4, and that is why they've got this margin right now. 4 breaks up.
And so the first time in a little while we're seeing the Germans come out on offense. Müller finding Schleur. To Duscher. Oh, lovely I love those inside shots that leading the German handlers, but that's going to be a run-through block for Claire Chastain, says no, and closes the door on Volchak. Now, can we see Team USA punch this one in with finesse? And it's immediate big ball that's going to go deep into the field and be run down by Nate Goff with ease. Just too much separation, not enough respect given to the big man from the USA.
Well, the change was going to come, and now the energy is coming back the way of the USA. The fans in the stands are rising, the energy in the field is rising, and these USA players are coming back hard. That was really impressive pressure. The disc to Levka Volchak wasn't great, and Chastain, we've seen it already. You put a disc where she can get to it, she will take that down.
An absolute lethal, dynamic defender for Claire Chastain. The block is given. And a nice little celebration there. I am really loving the colours in Chastain's hair. A bit of a swag on the field, but will it be the US taking home some golden swag at the end of this week? They've done it 4 times in a row. Certainly going to have to reach deep into the bag and pull out lots of blocks against Team Germany. And that's the first time we've seen the offensive line of the German side broken at this tournament to date.
I think it's the first time they've been turned over this tournament.
Yes, indeed, showing their class here on the fields. You see Müller, centre of the field, isolating Konrad Schlor, goes for the deep cut but doesn't like it. Now all the Germans together in the centre of the field, nobody really making much space or movement. Can they time themselves off of the run-up line from Gerner? Yes, they can. Schlor under, nice dish. Trautmann. Samuel Buttenmüller. Of course, his brother, a big loss to the German World Games side, as Holger isn't here, but they don't need him. They're just going to find Stefan Doscher for another goal, and that is half to the German side, surmounting the USA 7-4.
Yeah, Germany's going to come out in the second half with the disc on offense as well. So those 3 breaks up in the first half. It's an incredible first half from Team Germany. Oh, this is so exciting. The World Games is open right up.
Both of these teams can still advance into the championship playoff bracket, into semi-finals, if they can sit on top of this pool. They're currently in the 2 top berths, but of course the winner of this match, if the standings stay as they are, will have the slightly easier matchup coming into their hopes of a gold medal. Will it be the USA? Will it be the Germans? It's been such a scintillating first half, but we will bring you all the action from the business end of this matchup between these 2 Titan teams. Stay with us. World Flying Disc action at the World Games 2022.
As the name would suggest, they're here to hype you up. So let's get there.
This is why we love sports, especially international events that bring the best together and create unbelievable surprises. Evan Lempler, Megan Tormey, Daryl Stanley, so much to unpack. Germany leading USA 7-4. Megan, where do you want to start?
I mean, first of all, we have to say the Germans have come out prepared for this game as well. They have put on absolutely incredible pressure, and you're noticing the options they are taking away from the United States and how difficult of a time U.S. is having at looking for openings. There's always a German defender there.
This point right here that we're seeing on the highlights, this is the 2-to-1 point. This is a long point here. There are 14 turnovers combined between the two teams.
That's more turnovers than any of the 4 teams had in the entire games this morning.
Unbelievable. And what's frustrating and confusing is just that it was thought by the U.S. team that they thought, hey, that was a break. No, that was a hold.
And they needed a great grab by Lindsley to finally score.
On the 8th offensive possession at that point. So that just shows you some of the profligacy, I would say, of the U.S. team that Germany's taking advantage of.
What's going wrong for USA, and more importantly, how do they fix it?
Wow. I mean, I heard it on the sideline, and I agree fully. Let's walk the disc in. They're taking shots, expecting people to be running at their 100% at this exact moment to make the best play that we've seen them make. That's great. I love that they're supporting each other's maximum ability. Let's do something safer. And I think that's what they're trying to do, but that's a long road to get back, and that's a German team that just got broken for the first time this entire tournament.
Germany played 8 flawless O points yesterday and today before they got broken at 6-3. The shot from Chris Kocher to Nate Goff that got the U.S. back within 2 at 6-4. There was the block from Chastain, who's really been all over the field defensively in this first half. Megan, we were on the sideline. U.S. looked kind of shell-shocked.
Yeah, I think especially that long point was just astounding for the U.S. squad, that they could have that many mistakes from the U.S.'s top players over and over again. And a lot of the decisions that they made, I thought, were forced by the fact that they just really didn't have looks downfield that they were expecting to have.
Germany's up 7-4, and the Germans will receive on offense to start the second half. Scintillating, as Hanny put it. Absolutely right. Let's get you back to the duo calling the action. Hannah and Tom, thank you.
Welcome to the second half of the Flying Disc Pool A action here at the World Games in Birmingham, Alabama 2022. We are having the game we were hoping for, the USA versus Germany, as we see a rolling pull from Claire Chastain. I think we might see something interesting coming out on defense here with that starting throw.
Well, that's got everybody on the edge of their seats, hasn't it? What's happening here? Chastain very deliberate roll and pull to the sideline. Going to make sure he set up a big defense.
Yeah, the US setting a trap here for Team Germany, clustering around the disc. Gerner found though. Nico Müller, the big thrower, finding it difficult to get hard away from Jimmy Mickle. Oh, huge, great launch from Chastain, trying to grab another block back. Prien looking lost for options, finds a release in the blady, knifey throw to Volchak. And a quick release brings us close side. Duscher on the lefty backhand into the bread basket for Samuel Butenmüller, and that is the hold for Team Germany. A 5-point lead against the US.
Well, that looked like a deadly trap at the start, but as soon as the Germans managed to get the disc moving and get those first couple of passes out, they really flowed nicely through the rest of the USA offense, rest of the USA defense.
Yeah, an interesting choice of defensive set, trying to come out with something novel and strange. Great stuff from the German side. They did get that high stall knife from Prien to Livka Volchak, but yeah, the Germans are looking confident and competent right now. So not quite the result that the US would have hoped to start with. I think they probably were eyeing up a block and a break to start. Matthew Sang there, the coach, head coach this time for the USA. And Miranda Rothnells there alongside. With a rather nice little bit of decor in the back of the ponytail. I love the just USA team kit presence. There's so much little bits and pieces. Not sure what the little towel on the side of Freechild is, but a bit of swag out here in style on the field. See if they can get their play in order to match the look.
There's a poach in the middle of that set there from Schulze, just creating a few question marks in the USA handlers.
Yeah, they do seem to be leaving a woman in the middle of the field. The German side just trying to cause that confusion. Some team defense from the women of Germany. But Opie Payne left wide open. Volchak can't make up the ground. And you see the spike there. How much that just offensive hold means to Team USA.
Yeah, that was much better from USA, tidying it up. Holds for Germany either side of the half. Just going back to a stat which probably worth drawing attention to. Germany's O-line have only been turned over and only broken once the entire tournament. The USA O-line been turned 14 times in this game.
Well, these two teams trying to get the measure of each other. We saw in the German offensive effort a high release knife across on a high stall. That one was a very, very close margin between Opie Payne and Lufka Volchak, who was on the chase and attack. But Payne's not somebody you can leave wide open in the back of the end zone. That's just, you just can't do that.
One of the most athletic players on the field. You can tell she's been given the toughest marks all the way through this tournament, given the job of containing Volchak.
And it's lovely to see her back on the field for the States, having not been selected for the 2017 squad, but of course having represented back in Cali in 2013. So Gerner, centre of the field, one of the captains for the German side. Pops it to Troutman. Huge effort from Chastain to get the disc back. Nearly conservation of greatness there. The USA layering on the pressure. Nico Müller saying what he wants. Waldvogel. Nearly quite the give and go. Oh, Waldvogel with the separation in the deep space. He's going to be able to make the play. No, he's not, because Koch is there smacking the disc to the ground instead. Great stuff from the American.
Waldvogel was going to have to work hard to get the grab, but Chris Kocher removing any doubt from where that disc was finishing.
And so, again, the US side turn the offensive line.
There's a conversation to be had here.
Good traction.
Oliver Brown coming in, one of our lovely game advisors here, not able to make
Do you want a rules? Do you want a perspective? What do you want, guys? What are we doing?
I can go closer if you want.
Okay, what score are we coming back in on?
I was at 6. Yeah, but I thought you left the space.
The rules say that if you left the 3-meter space, you restart the stall.
Yeah, I contest that because I think I was Mexican here.
Okay, so we're coming in max 6 anyway.
So, lead on 6? Okay, lead on 6!
Okay, let me clear the field first.
So of course, flying disc, ultimate frisbee is a self-refereed sport, so the players on the field are the only ones empowered to make these calls. Lovely to see them able to have those discussions and work things out together. El Salam dishing to Chastain. A little loss for options. That has the dump available. Mickle has a little cheeky look. Milks every inch out of that pass and throws an expansive shot to Kocher on the far side. And those two players, you see them together so often, it's like a psychic connection.
Yeah, and that is a break, another break back to the USA. Mickle so much awareness. He had a good look around, didn't he? He got his guidebook out and had a stroll up to that disc before. Must have gained 10 yards. But let's have a look at this, the turning point of this point. Kocher making sure of the defense. Whoa.
Yeah, you've got to go to work and full stretch to prevent Waldvogel from coming up with the goods.
He was going to get there, wasn't he? Waldvogel was going to get there.
Absolutely. But the bookends for Kocher, he'll be very pleased with that. I like the fake of the kick spike. Not actually doing it. But I think the key thing there was that nobody else on the German offensive line kept their marks busy, and that was what allowed Kocher to come through and make that play. They just dialed it in a wee bit. Perhaps the Germans becoming a bit predictable.
So Germans O-line have been turned over twice and broken twice. And, Paul needs to do a lot of work to come back in. They didn't do the work, so Nico Muller.
Yep, 18 metres from the end zone line.
Because the disc didn't come in.
Oh, out of bounds, yeah.
It was out of bounds well up the field, and Muller using the advantage.
You do have the option, if the ball does not land in bounds, of taking it from where it left the field or taking it from the X's, the brick marks. Oh, actually, this is an absolute gift for Team Germany.
They were on this side of the field.
So Müller, oh, that got, I thought either a lot of Lindsley hand or not a lot of spin on the release. Dorsche, hot pressure, all the Germans together on this side of the field. Büttenmüller. Dorsche. Oh, and a one-to-one. You never want to be in that position. And Wojciak gets one off of the back of Opie Payne.
A good presence from the rest of the German players to just leave Wojciak with that space around her, knowing that she's got the ability to jink free, even from a defensive masterclass like Opie Payne. Just one-on-one in those situations, so difficult to contain a player.
It's something you don't often see in the outdoor format of flying disc sport, but you do see it for those of us who play in Europe. We play a lot more indoors for the inclement conditions, and that's something you see all the time on the indoor surface. But that pull, once again, just not anywhere near the shape that was intended to be on it.
It's Freechild's pull, and it landed on the lines. It wasn't far away from being a really brilliant start to the point, but notice the different body language from the Germans here. All the way through the Canadian game, they had huge smiles on their faces. At the start of this game, huge smiles on their faces. Now it's serious. They know that they're in a fight here. They've got a big lead, but the USA are finding their form.
Absolutely. Games to 13 here at the World Games, but the US will be breathing down the moisture in the collars of the shirt for the full stretch of this game, which is everything we'd hoped it would be and a little extra. Nickel winds up for the fake.
Different defensive look from the Germans here, very loose.
Yeah, zony style to try and get some of those errors we saw early stages. Nice to see the US cleaning things up. Finney there dishing through to Kocher.
Wojciak, one of the most mobile players, just with that task just behind the wall of three, just picking up any player that moves into that space. In the 42 shirt, watch her movement. Now she's marking Helton, but as soon as Helton moves away, she'll got El Salam. She'll be picking him up. There she goes, just collecting those players. Really smart, intelligent play required from that position.
And it's a perfect spot for her because she's so good at making players seem like they're free and then coming in for the block. Kocher forced to go directly backwards. Of course, there's not that much wind here today. Some gusts of 10 miles an hour, but the overhead exactly there to try and rip open the zone, and a big ripper from Finney, but she's going to overshoot it a little bit. Mextroff unable to reel it in, and another opportunity here for Team Germany to claw back one of those breaks they were up. Schlor back to Wojciak. Nice, confident lefty grab. Too many cuts in the end zone from the Germans. Nice expansive play. Helton has a look at it. Schlor nearly losing himself in the field. It's going to be a big reception, far side. Ruschenmeier. This is good discipline from the Germans. They don't desperately need this one. Here, Benavides. Perhaps some giving and going with Volchak. She's so agile, is Benavides, so speedy. Returning to the field after having her first child. Oh, and a beautiful over-the-top hammer to a completely wide open Katharina Schulze. Hugo with the goal and the break for the Germans.
That was a really, really impressive bit of offense from the German D-line. They got that turnover, and they were not going to let the USA have it back. Real patience, real maturity. Look at the turnover again. Shot from Finney. Target was Meckstroth, just over the head.
And just so many passes for the German defensive line to make that one happen. Konrad Schlor having a rare moment of falling over. You see Spiegel there with the diving catch and the huge find for the Yogo Benito player Katharina Schulze.
Yeah, to come up after doing that really low diving one-handed grab and then just to go, you know, I'm going to flick a hammer to the far corner. That's no biggie. Really, it's cool. It's cool. 10-6 Germany.
When you come in as the 8th seed in a pack of 8, they're the bottom of the tournament. It gives you that license to do things like that, to just get yourself up, dust yourself down, and throw a huge hammer for the score. So the US now desperately needs to respond. We'll see this one taken away. Only 3 goals remain for the Germans to stamp their mark so firmly on this tournament. Lindsley on the far side. Everybody seems to be running deep apart from Payne. Oh, nice find up the line to Jack Williams. Has the momentum. Oh, spicy inside shot to Trope. He's going to race towards the end zone. Payne available in the deep space. But the Germans clustering through. Freechild dishes back. Normile, the AMP player. Oh, that's a lovely break to Helton. And a nice goal for the States, punching it in.
Yeah, that's what they needed to be doing from the start. Using their players, using the spaces that they're given, and really being patient. The Germans stifled the end zone play, and instead of trying to make something happen, they reset, they went around the back, and eventually Kayla Helton with a pair of twinkle toes on the edge of the line, keeping it alive. They trail by 3. Germans just need to trade this game out, but they know that's not going to be an easy job. USA defense is going to be intense from here.
Well, with just 1 game to play per day, you can really afford to shorten your lines in those crunch situations where it really, really matters. You see Mikkel there with the disc preparing for the pull.
Yeah, it's hard to see who either of these teams would take off. You only have a line of 14 anyway. It's
oh no, but who do you put on? Because as a coach, it's the who is having a really great day. Yeah, who's really firing yourself up. I mean, at the moment for Team USA, Mikkel's been very, very handy. Kocher, I think, has been Kocher. Those are the people you're keeping out on the field right now.
Jimmy Mikkel's pull was 1 meter from perfection there, but instead he's walking up the full length of the end zone and then another 18 meters bonus.
Indeed, X marks the spot. No buried treasure underneath it, unfortunately. Let's see if the metal detector of the Germans can find some treasure in the deep part of the field. Green battling against Meckstroth in the underspace. It's going to be a big effort from Meckstroth, but not able to snag that one away from the 2-time Eurostar. Dorsche has Gerner running up line, but chooses the around pass. Nobody really attacking the break side, just happy to get open on the unders. Müller. Gerner now attacking this soft side, the closed side. The defense are trying to take away with their bodies on the mark. Short field remains. Oh, just a little bit too loose on that one. Big collision afterwards, but all's fair in Love and Frisbee.
Well, it's the first time we've seen this German O-line look nervous. That was not the execution, and Mickle punishing it.
So a huge flick is going to be released. Meckstroth underneath it. Duscher on the attack, but she says, what? And grabs it. What a brilliant play from Sarah Meckstroth there under heavy defensive pressure.
Germany looked really calm all the way through that, but this is what the USA bring. One mistake, one moment, one flick that's 1 meter out. Mickle's in there with the block, and USA have got to break back. That is 3 times Germany's O-line have turned the disc over now, and 3 times they've been punished. So.
Well, looking at this second half in isolation, this is such a dramatically different game to what we were treated to in the earlier stages. At the moment, the US are in charge. Look at that take again from Sarah Meckstroth. Such composure.
If you're watching from the USA right now, I fear for your fingernails. This is so tense. Well, the USA, if they don't get this job done, if they can't come back against Germany, they're not guaranteed a place in the semi-final even then, because their last game is going to be against Canada. And we know Canada have got a great game in them. USA make the same number of mistakes. That could be a very difficult challenge as well, wide open.
Well, we did see the Canadians take advantage of their female matching athletes to great effect, whereas I feel like they were going to have a bit of a harder ask against the USA, as we see a huge, expansive, put lots of faith and trust in Levka Volchak, and she just doesn't manage to come up with the goods. A big battle with Opie Payne there. She's going to have a little chat and see if there is perhaps a foul call.
Like we do have a foul call.
There was contact made, but let's have a look at the replay before we make any... The disc from Schlor was the problem here, hanging way too long in the air. Plenty of time for everyone to get underneath it. Payne had a bid. Volchak looked like she had time to make a clean grab there. Let's have a look at another angle.
It's difficult to see from behind because there looks to be potentially a bit of hand-to-hand contact. Those two players going up. I think there definitely was body contact. An early bid from Payne, perhaps getting a little bit too much of the shoulder of Volchak, but those players will be allowed to have the chat. There's going to be a contested foul, disc returning to the hand of Conrad Schlor. But I agree with you, Tom, that wasn't the nicest throw. A lot of trust and faith being put in Volchak, but
you've got to use Volchak for what she's amazing at, which is beating people with pace. And if you're going to hang it up there, you're really giving the defense all the option they need. And you know, Opie Payne doesn't need a second invite to go and have a bid at a disc like that. So Schlor got a chance to put right the error here.
Everybody returning to their positions when that disc was released. Troutman and Trope in the middle of the field there. Excited to see that matchup. In fact, so many great matchups here. Such delightful scenes on the field in Alabama as we see Burton Müller finding Müller. This is great hand defense from Team USA. Müller with the agility to move around the back. Volchak hitting the deep space again, but thinking better of it, saving her legs. Gerner now going to work. Troutman really trying to squeeze it through, but around breaks instead. Oh, that's a much better disc. It's going to sit and hang, but Troutman's name is written all over it, and that is the goal for Germany. They respond after getting broken and put themselves 2 points shy of the top spot in Pool A.
Just 2 points left for Germany for what would be an historic victory over the USA at the World Games. And they can feel it. They can feel it, how close they are. They've done all of the hard work, but the USA are coming back at them.
I don't know, Tom. If I were a betting woman at the moment, the German side have enough momentum, I think, to carry them through.
Well, we'll have to watch and find out, Hannah.
We certainly will.
It's an exciting thing.
But at the moment, it's that thing of they are making some errors. Their offensive line is being challenged. There are a lot of questions that the defense of the USA is asking. Miranda Roth-Knowles, of course, the defensive coach, as we see Patrick Sherlock coming off the field.
Well, coming into this tournament, there were a lot of folks who were saying, you know, Germany, don't mark them out, don't count them out. But nobody was saying they're going to come and beat Canada and USA in the first 2 days. Nobody was saying that.
Well, perhaps they should have been, Tom. We see Finney centering the ball to Chastain. And another zone look from Germany. Chastain looking very comfortable. El-Salam over the top if she chooses the overhead, and it's a slicing flick that will do it, the forehand. Giving and going good, crunching in from the cup. Oh, nearly gets the palm in there, does Priyan. Gotcha. Centering it back, the Germans still sticking with that zone defense. And another replay, but this time to Finney. That arcing forehand. Pelton now. Again, the Germans outfit staying in the zone look, not melting to person coverage, keeping their structure. But with the throwing prowess of the USA, that could be not the best idea.
They look very comfortable, don't they, USA? They feel like they could do this all day.
Absolutely. Well, they're used to ruining sides with their sheer athleticism. But this is now a bit of a chess match here in this point.
Making the zone move side to side, lots of passes, hard work.
Oh, and they made it a little bit hard for Sarah Meckstroth to reel that one in, but the cheeky flick from Claire Chastain puts another stamp in the book for Team USA.
I think both teams would be happy with the way they played that point. The Germans would be happy that they made the USA work 30, 40 passes to score the point. And the USA will be happy that they scored it and that they didn't panic. They stayed calm and cool, and they used some big expansive throws to get across that zone.
Well, it's something we're familiar with seeing Chastain do, is that kind of expansive, what some might call a bit of a risky shot, but they're high percentage completions, especially in the conditions out here on the field, and a timeout being called to give these players a little bit of a rest.
I feel the energy is just kind of leveled a little bit. Both teams just breathing, the crowd breathing. It's been such an intense game. We've had 5 breaks go the way of Germany. 3 have come back the way of the USA. The Germans just edging towards this win. It's a game to 13.
That does feel like just the theme of day 2 here at the World Games, is those we've seen so many close trading matches, and this is what this second section feels like as we see the coaching staff there amongst the players for the German side. Stefan Reckitt featured, the head coach for the German side. 2 from the women's team that have been very successful. You see Marco Müller there, the older brother of Nico Müller, one of the Bad Skid chaps, and Max Liebersberger and Stephanie Sauer, a former German women's team player.
And Stefan Reckitt, one of the most highly regarded coaches in Europe, certainly, and probably after this tournament in the world, was drafted into the CUSB Lafota team when they won their first European Championship. Reckitt just coaching the team for that one weekend, but it made all the difference.
Was that the game against Clapham in Caroline Venice? Now that, if you've not watched that game, if you're not familiar with the European circuit and you want to see a demonstration of how to demolish the morale of a team from inside out, get your eyeballs on that one. It was quite a scintillating European final. But the Europeans now with the disc in their paws. It's Anna Gerner looking to get us underway. It's going to be a big effort, but it's a miscue. Samuel Boitenmüller, and a golden opportunity for the USA.
Low disc from Gerner. Boitenmüller got the hand down to it, but it was asking a lot of difficult questions. Tired legs this side of the game. USA with a chance.
We haven't seen too much of Boitenmüller until the second half of this match, so Normile getting us underway. All of her teammates in one stack cluster in the centre of the field right now. And the Germans able to play some smart, potential switchy defence to get the disc back if they can. Jack Williams now finds Payne. Good coverage of Volchak on Trope. Poaching off though. We're going to see the Americans exploit that soft side. Freechild with a huge lethal break. Trope going to the knees to keep the disc alive and pops it into Jack Williams. It's a break for Team USA and they bring themselves within one.
That is huge. That is absolutely huge. USA showing real grit here, grinding this one out. It was a German error, and it was the first really unforced error from the German O-line. Gerner putting the disc a bit low. Boitenmüller not able to get the hand down to it.
We're talking about tiredness in the legs, and Gerner has been pulling all of the duty for the German side. So perhaps a little bit of tiredness there. Although it was, I would have expected Samuel Boitenmüller to have come up with the goods on that one.
In real time and in slow-mo, that disc looked really close to the ground. Nobody from the German side called it down.
But that's the difference, I suppose, there. The hunger of the USA, and Claire Trope making absolutely sure, throwing her body to the ground to keep that disc in.
Look at that cross-field pass. Oh no, not down at all. It was just the speed and the very low disc.
Props to our tireless camera staff, giving you all of the views and replays on this beautiful match, as we see the USA firing themselves up, seeing if they can get another one off of the Germans, who currently lead by that one all-important break after their unanswered run in the first half of this match.
Boitenmüller and Gerner here are both looking a little nervy now after that error. Volchak.
Oh, and do you see how hard they're cutting, throwing themselves on the ground? Good body control there to keep the defender at bay. Dörscher and Volchak with the give goes. Back to Müller. Gerner on the around. Volchak attacking the deep space, leaving the unders for her teammates. Takes the around, just about squeezes it out to Dörscher and goes back. Gerner and the boys just working it between the three of them.
Yeah, isolating the four deep players, just letting them get out the way, leave the handlers to move it between them, and really backing the athleticism of Müller, of Gerner and of Dörscher to just keep working this around the USA defense. It's worked so far, but they can't do it forever.
Enjoying the Pri and Meckstroth matchup. So fun between those two. They try and best each other. A pick at the back of the stack, perhaps.
This feels like a chess match now, Hannah. Tension building. Players looking at the nerves getting to them. Germany, can they score this? Put themselves within one of a win.
We see Carolyn Finney there coming across to the O-line, but it's an easy inside break in the end, and Germany bring themselves within 1 point.
Boitenmüller slams that disc to the ground, buries the ghost of that missed catch. on the previous point, which gave USA a chance, and they are within one of a win against the USA. Let me say that again. Germany within one of beating USA at the World Games.
And not only are they within one, but they're so far clear of them, they're going to have numerous opportunities to put this win in the bank. I've got to say, this has been such an exciting game. From the moment that the Germans closed the book against Canada yesterday, everybody has been losing their minds. In fact, there's a chap called Justin who actually plays in the German scene, who is originally from the US, and he was just saying, I don't know who to support right now. And I think that's exactly what's happened in this match. It's just whoever plays the best. That's who we're rooting for, because this has been an absolute showdown.
I think even a lot of the American players, pundits around the scene, they love an underdog, they love a story, and this is a brilliant story.
I've never seen Evan Lepler work so hard to root for the US, and that is a joy to see. Team Germany, the underdogs for sure, the 8th seed, but can they take the disc off of the States? There's beautiful separation for Claire Trope. Lena Troutman, though, piling on the pressure, seeing her move her body out of the way to avoid any contact.
This could be it.
This could be the moment. Conrad Schlor losing his footing, working so hard in the centre of the field. High grab for Dosha, just rips it out from in front of the defence. Gerner. Right at the back. That's Katharina Schulze. Nice inside find for Schlur, who's going to rip it up, and that is goal for the Germans. They are the giant killers, taking down the 4-time defending champions. It's a goal, 13-10.
They've done it. Germany, having beaten Canada in their opening game, look at the faces. They have now defeated the USA, 2 North American giants. Day 1, day 2, German celebrations. This is a huge moment in the sport of ultimate flying disc. The World Games is turning up an incredible story.
Tom, I have absolute goosebumps right now. Such an incredible game. The effort in the first half from the German side after that 14 turnover strong point. Not what you expect to see at the World Games level. Just going 4 unanswered. They did just enough to put it in the cushion, but you could see the US in the second half just pulling feather after feather out of the goose down, but just the short format not favouring them. And my goodness, if this is what we're being treated to in pool play, I am so excited for the championship bracket.
Again, a high floaty disc. It's been a story for both teams have struggled with that mistake. Into the end zone, and no doubt at all, Spiegel with acres of space. Second point, he's had 2 assists and a block as well. Big game from him.
And that is a massive effort. So, providing that we don't get any unexpected matchups in the latter stages of pool play, of course, it's not all said and done yet. The Germans, with a 2-win record, are very likely to see themselves sitting pretty at the top of the standings, therefore playing against the 2nd place in Pool B, but likely to be a US-Colombia semi-final if things currently as they stand. But anything could happen right now.
Anything could happen. We were talking before the game about Levka Volchak, and USA, to their credit, did reduce her impact on the game. She only scored 3, but the rest of the German line stepped up, and it's like, well, we're not just one player. Actually, we're 14 incredible players, and we're hot on defense. We have no weak links. We've got deep throws. We've got pressure. They can do it all, and you hang up a disc too long, we'll take it down.
Yeah, Volchak already a household name, but I'm sure at the end of this tournament there are going to be lots of international fans who will know many of the names on the shirts of Team Germany. There was a lot of lovely, expansive play from the Team USA line. Just one too many errors in the early stages, but you could see how much they did really want this game. They wanted to come out and be the team that everybody expected them to be, but I think if anything's got to be said about the fields here in Alabama, expect the unexpected. Team Germany coming out strong. They wanted it more, they prepared so hard. Perhaps a little bit of resting on the laurels for the States, but it ain't over. We still have these teams potentially advancing to the gold medal match. We'll have to find out, but a great effort, inhuman stuff. Team Germany winning this one 13-10.
A result that will send shockwaves through the ultimate world. USA goes down to Germany 13-10. What a moment for Germany here at the World Games. Wow, this is why we watch sports, to see something special happen. With Daryl Stanley and Megan Tormey, I am Evan Lepler. There's no doubt about it. Germany was the better team. There was nothing fluky about it. USA made a run, but for the full game, Germany was the superior 14 players over the course of the past couple hours.
Yeah, they continue to show up prepared and just bring it home. And maybe my early question about whose women were going to play better. Hey, what do you think now?
I mean, I don't know if I'm ready to change my mind, but I will say that Lena Troutman was a dream crusher for USA. There were so many times that she stopped downfield movement or knocked things out of the end zone. I mean, her ability to close out the play was uncanny and a brilliant display from Troutman.
How does this change the perspective of the entire tournament for Germany and for the United States?
It shows to me that preparedness, mental fortitude, that physical acclimation, Germany took this seriously. They took it, sounds like they've done more preparation than everybody else here. And I think if we look at this pool, you know, the U.S. are probably going to be fighting for that second place. It looks like Germany is in a really strong position to go 3-0. But the U.S. still would have a game tomorrow. And if they can win that, you know, they'll be second, and we'll see what happens. But at least they'll be in the semifinal.
Yeah, certainly Germany's preparation was on display, and it showed in the types of plays that they were able to make. That great read by Walczak. Yeah, she's just been such a revelation to watch this tournament.
All game long, Germany reacted consistently better to the flight of the Frisbee, which isn't to say the Americans didn't have their moments with Chastain and Kocher. Mickle hitting Kocher with a crossfield shot here to get back within two. Jimmy, it was like a Steph Curry move. He turned away before the disc was caught, pumping his fist, knowing his longtime buddy Chris Kocher would make the play. It was incredible. The German zone flustered the United States. They just couldn't quite figure out the poppers to get the middle receivers downfield, and Germany handled its poise offensively really well down the stretch, too.
Yeah, I think that zone was a good idea to slow the game down, and the U.S. just did not find those spots. You saw two passes ago. That shot was just like over the head of the U.S. women.
Heck of a game for Sarah Meckstroth. She made her fair share of nice grabs. This was a controversial call. Walczak calling the bump. There was certainly some contact. It was contested and sent back later in the point. Troutman just was unstoppable for Germany.
Blocks.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway for Germany is that their preparation has paid off. They were making so few mistakes offensively and defensively. Their individual matchups were incredibly strong. You know, I think the United States is able to take a lot of lessons from this game as well, but they have to be able to put the lessons into play. For example, Leaf was probably the best defender on Nico Mueller, and those are the kinds of lessons they're going to have to take into another potential matchup should that be what plays out.
And look, neither of these teams has won the gold medal yet. That's a very important thing to point out. The Americans with 16 turnovers to Germany's 14. 4 for 4 on break chances, but the USA O-line, remember they had 8 chances to score. They finally scored on the 8th chance to tie it at 2-2. Germany takes a commanding spot for the lead in the pool, but USA versus Canada, Germany's actually clinched the pool because GB's 0-2. So Germany will be the #1 seed coming out of Pool A, and it is a winner to the semifinals game tomorrow between USA and Canada. But it's not the first time USA has lost in pool play, and in 2017 they avenged it against Colombia. 2009 they avenged an early loss to Japan. So again, this is a learning experience for USA, and I'm curious, Dario, what you think the USA coaches' primary reactions will be.
I think to not panic. When you look here, they're just not out of it. If they can beat Canada here, U.S., right? Like, getting to the semis is really critical. Whether you play Colombia or Australia, you're going to have to play both of those teams regardless of the situation, right? You're going to have to play the winner of one of those games. So I think that they're not going to worry too much, and they'll be pleasantly surprised, or pleasant that they didn't really show much. I think that might have been intentional at a certain point. They didn't really pull out all the stops to win this game. They kind of just did more of what they had already showed and just tried to execute it a little bit better.
Well, we still got one more game coming up tonight, Colombia and France, and wow, what a day it has already been. USA goes down to Germany, and Nico Müller was the quarterback of the German effort. He's standing by. We're going to take a quick timeout, and one of the stars for Team Germany that just knocked off the United States on their home turf going to join us here at our game day set. Stay with us.
Nico,
come on in, Nico. Back here in Birmingham, Team Germany is 2-0 atop the A pool, and Nico Müller is one of the big reasons why, not the only reason why, but one of the big reasons why. Nico, congratulations. What does it feel like to defeat USA and Canada on back-to-back days here in North America?
I mean, it's an incredible feeling to sit here now after beating Canada and USA in that tournament. I mean, we expected that we can do big things here, but coming out strong like that is certainly a big punch already.
What can you tell us about the game plan and your team's confidence coming in against the United States?
There was no specific game plan. I think we just wanted to enjoy the game and push as hard as we can, and it seems like we managed a little bit better with the lightning delay to come out at the beginning of the game, and that helped us throughout the whole game to manage to keep a little bit of a cushion even when the US came back in the middle or at the end of the second half.
How'd you spend the 40 minutes during the lightning delay?
We just chilled in the locker room, didn't do much.
Nico, we're going to take a look at your highlights here in a moment. Love for you to help narrate them and share what you see. USA threw a lot of different defenders, and some slowed you down a little bit, but you seem to continue to get what you want out there. Did it feel that way to you?
I mean, it was tough. It was always tough to get open. I had a lot of very good defenders, obviously, on this Team USA. I think I managed to get a lot of dumps and managed to continue on the break side, which helped us sometimes when we struggled a little bit on offense.
Talk a little bit more about your offensive setup. I mean, we have just been in awe of how clean your offensive line is, how good the chemistry is. Talk a little bit about the development of your offensive line to have it be performing so spectacularly here at Worlds.
I think what helps us a lot is that we had a lot of time for preparation and a lot of time of playing together and getting chemistry together, and it really pays off in that first two games. We struggled sometimes here against the US, but overall I'm very happy with the performance of the offense and how we keep the chemistry.
So I'd asked Levka yesterday about the preparation process and how much she thought it was effective. I asked, I wanted to know basically what you felt was maybe the most centering thing that you guys did to keep yourselves cool and calm as the U.S. brought 3 breaks in a row against your team, which you had not seen. You had not seen that pressure yet. What did you do to keep yourself so centered mentally and of course, physically?
I think we saw yesterday and today that we can play against that team, and we had some sloppy mistakes that we made on offense. But I think we had a lot of trust that we can play, even though they managed to get 2 breaks in a row, I think. I don't quite remember, but we knew that we can play against them, and that gave us a lot of trust.
We've talked a lot about Levka and Nikki Prien and Anna Gerner. I thought Troutman had an unbelievable game, making plays both offensively and defensively. Did anything that she did surprise you?
Not at all. I gave her a shout out yesterday in the Ulti World interview because it was the same thing yesterday. She got 3 blocks or so, and today she was absolutely incredible again, getting I don't know how many blocks, but she was absolutely incredible on defense.
You know, when you practice together, your offense is obviously guarded by the German defense, and so you've had a lot of experience against really intense pressure. During scrimmages, during practice, what is it like playing against your defensive squad? Like, give us an insight as to what it must be like for the other teams to look down the field and see this intense individual and team pressure.
I think what our defense learned a lot is playing well, helping each other, and it seems like that teams are struggling to find spaces with no poaching, and that obviously helped us a lot on offense also, to always keep an eye on people that are poaching in the lanes or something like that.
How did you find a way to get past those poaches? Was there something systemic, or did you feel as though, you know, this was just kind of natural play for you?
I think it kind of developed into a natural play because we played so much against it during the training camps.
Great.
So you're 2-0. You have already clinched your pool. I'm sure you'll come up with some strategy to take on GB tomorrow. It's not like you can put the second 14 out there for a game that doesn't matter, but you will be the #1 seed coming out of Pool A. What's your outlook for the rest of this tournament, and what would it mean to you to potentially win the World Games for Germany? Have you thought about that possibility?
I think we're still very, very far away from clinching the title here, but certainly we are in a good spot now. But as from the beginning, we'll be taking game by game, and whoever's coming, we will play against, and we'll see who that will be in the next couple of days.
Nico, one last thing. You've played North America. You played club in Boston, I believe. Did that experience give you a little bit more confidence and comfort coming in, going against USA and Canada here?
It certainly gave a little bit of confidence playing the year in the US and playing against top-level teams. You play a lot more than in Europe against very, very good teams. On every tournament you play, certainly every game is tight, so that gives a lot of confidence for sure, yes.
One last question. I want to give you a chance to brag on your coaching staff. Stefan Reckett is listed as the head coach, but you have a dozen, it seems, coaches with coaching polos on. Can you tell us about some of the entire staff and what they've done to put this game plan in place for you guys to be this successful here?
I mean, there's not many words to find about the work that they put into this. I mean, we spend a lot of time on the field, but the amount of work that the coaching staff has put into this project is absolutely incredible. They had several calls a week for months to prepare for every situation, and it's absolutely incredible. It's not so much visible on the field, but the amount of work they put in is really incredible.
Well, it's clearly showing off now. You've beaten Canada, you've beaten the United States. We'll see you in the semifinals. You got one game before that. Nico Müller, Team Germany, congratulations on the start to the World Games. Can't wait to see what's ahead for you.
Thank you very much.
Nico Müller joining us here on our game day set. Still one more game ahead, Colombia and France. We will preview 1-0 Colombia and 0-1 France after this quick break.